Perfect.
Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome to another version of the NBA Fantasy Basketball Q&A. Rotoworld Fantasy Basketball Q&A. I'm Raphielle Johnson. I am joined, as always, by Noah Rubin. Noah, how is everything?
Raph, it's good. It's basketball season. Christmas is around the corner, and based on injuries and bad teams in the NFL, the NBA games are going to be a lot more exciting, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a fun time of year.
Yeah. Obviously, the NBA Cup wrapped up on Tuesday.
Who won that?
I don't know, but yeah, but I do have a bone to pick with the league about the scheduling, and this goes for all teams. Like, I don't understand why you would have back-to-backs in the days following the NBA Cup. It kind of feels like a week where they could kind of not have any back-to-backs for any teams, just because you basically institute scheduling losses for one, and then availability. It's good for fans that Victor Wembanyama is going to play both ends of a back-to-back here on Thursday and Friday, but there are other guys that, think about Trae Young, for example, Joel Embiid, they've got a back-to-back. I know he's dealing with an illness too. It would be nice if they kind of did a little bit more for the fans and the teams to not have back-to-backs during this particular week of the season.
Yeah, and I think it like you said, it's something that would be good for everyone, but also it's not that hard to do to try and avoid some back-to-backs this week, and saving some of those games for later in the season when you're not competing with football as well. Like, that's not a bad decision. So I don't know. We could probably spend a whole show just talking about different things we'd want to see with the schedule just to optimize it. But it would probably be good ideas, but a lot selfish for fantasy basketball purposes.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like that's like one of the biggest beefs that fantasy basketball managers have with basketball is the scheduling aspect of everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody gets too happy about the back-to-backs because does anybody like back-to-backs? Like, is there an argument for back-to-backs? I mean, just space the schedule out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then you get more eyes on each game. So I don't know.
It is what it is. Yeah. We've got some questions lined up, so we're just going to hop into that right away. We'll start with Wemby. Welcome back, sir. Oh, wow. His center position is taking a beating. He's got Zach Edey and Kristaps Porzingis in IL. Would you drop one of these two guys for streaming or drop Ryan Kalkbrenner? And also, he would like to know, is DeJounte Murray nearing a return?
So I haven't seen an update on DeJounte, so I'm assuming it's just he's still recovering. I think we've kind of both been on the same page about uncertainty about whether he plays at all this season, just because New Orleans has been bad. They are on a 3-game winning streak and one of the hottest teams in the league. They still have the second worst record in the league, so it would take quite a lengthy stretch of winning for that to change. Would you drop one of these two guys for streaming or drop Kalkbrenner? Depending on where you are in your league, I think you can have a conversation about dropping Edey, like if you're comfortable waiting on him to return, but it was a 4-week reevaluation, and then that's just reevaluation. He's a 7'4", 300+ pound center. Like, continuing to put pressure on a stress injury, like, that's scary. So they may not want to risk anything. Dropping Kalkbrenner, I don't. Depending on if you're going for like a specific punt build, I think you could definitely take a look at dropping Kalkbrenner. He says he's second right now, so then I'd probably be more patient. Wouldn't be looking to drop Zach Edey if you don't need the production right now. I think you can consider dropping Ryan Kalkbrenner, but if all your centers are hurt, then you kind of need the center spot. So you wouldn't drop Kalkbrenner. You just hold tight.
I wouldn't drop Kalkbrenner. I would actually consider dropping Porzingis. I know he has a higher ceiling than Edey, but this illness is, I don't know if it's the exact same thing that he dealt with in the spring, but for something to crop back up to where they have to sit him down to reevaluate and he's sat out multiple games already. That's concerning to me. I think Edey's a similar case for the reasons you mentioned in terms of his build and dealing with the lower body stress injury. That's kind of tough. So I think I would rather hold on to Kalkbrenner, because if you need a center, you kind of need the healthy one to be on your roster. So I would hold on to him, and I think about either one of those two guys as possible drops. I think Porzingis has the shorter time span in terms of what we've heard recently, but you never know with what he's dealing with. So I think either one of those guys I would consider before Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, that's fair. I just if you're in second, I think you can afford to be a little bit more patient with them, though. But
true.
I do agree, man. I really hope, not just from like a selfish fan standpoint, but like a Chris Porzingis, man. I just hope that he can be healthy enough to play basketball. So
it's basic quality of life situation at this point.
Right.
All right. James, welcome back. And he's got a trade question for us. Would you trade Donovan Mitchell and Miles Turner for Tyrese Maxey in a 14-team, 14-cat Roto League? He needs assists, and he's at the top 2 for 3-pointers and points right now.
I would. Partially because Miles Turner hasn't been very good this year.
Yeah.
Partially because Donovan Mitchell, he's been good, but there's like Cleveland's kind of scaring me a little bit from a fantasy perspective. Like they're just kind of running it back. I mean, like no Ty Jerome, no Max Strus, but like, is that really dropping them from best team in the East or best record in the regular season to where they are now? Like, I don't know. Things could get worse there, and that's just kind of a scary situation. But Tyrese Maxey has been absolutely insane, one of the best players in fantasy basketball. So I think I'd do that.
I would not hesitate to do that if you're getting Tyrese Maxey, just because of how good he's been. And I really like his position in terms of what they're asking him to do in Philly. And also that team's been quite competitive, even with the absences of guys like Embiid and Paul George, Kelly Oubre being out. They've still been competitive. Cleveland's also been competitive, but I agree with Noah in terms of how far things have dropped from last season to this. It kind of feels like they expected to just kind of pick up where they left off just because of how weak the East is perceived to be. And that's a really dangerous approach to take. And it hasn't worked so far. Miles Turner, we've spoken about Miles Turner in the past on this Q&A. Scored 21 points last night, but he also had 6 rebounds, and that's like the high end for him. So I'm not too fond of him as a fantasy option at this point. So Tyrese Maxey, I'd definitely take this swing if I were you.
Yeah, and I think with Cleveland also, like they haven't had health on their side, and that is a big factor for them because Donovan Mitchell has been pretty good, but it's like the health factor, I think. So there's definitely a path for them to turn it around, and when Giannis comes back, like there's a path for Miles Turner to be a little bit better. But Tyrese Maxey's been that good that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like 2 teams have shown us the value of Tyrese Halliburton this year, effectively. Indiana and also Milwaukee with Miles Turner. They don't have a playmaker on par with Halliburton. I know Kevin Porter Jr. had 13 assists last night, but he also had 7 turnovers. So, there's a huge gap with what Miles Turner's dealing with in terms of the pieces around him. And I don't know if he can really bounce back from that fully this year. So.
And they benched Ryan Rollins.
He played pretty well off the bench last night, but it's still one of those things where it's like you got 30 minutes out of Gary Trent Jr. and he shot 1 for 8 compared to 28 minutes for Rollins. Like that's not a huge gap, but it's like it feels like Doc's kind of searching for some answers there, and I don't know if he has the pieces to get what he needs.
Yeah, it's just like, sorry, we can move on to the more questions after this, but like there hasn't been too many bright spots in Milwaukee. Ryan Rollins has probably been the brightest spot, and then Kevin Porter Jr.'s resurgence since he got healthy has also been like, okay, like these are some things for them to build off of. Everything else has been relatively disappointing. You can talk about maybe the recent production from Bobby Portis, but I don't know. The benching Ryan Rollins just seems really silly when you have a young guy playing well, but I guess you can't really be all that surprised.
Yeah. Okay, Rizzy McGuire, welcome back. Is Tyler Kolek worth an ad, seeing as he has Mike Brown's trust now, or is he just an injury streamer?
My thought is I'd probably want to see more than one game when everyone was kind of injured.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of multiple starters out, multiple rotation players out, and he played really well, but also Miles McBride's still out. So I think when this team's fully healthy, Tyler Kolek's probably looking at 10 to 15 minutes per game. And I think, is that kind of your evaluation as well?
Yeah, he's an injury streamer at this point. He really good over these last few weeks, but we're talking injury streamer at this stage. So he had career highs in points, rebounds, and assists last night. But like Noah said, you got a few guys out of the lineup. If anything, it's good to see the emergence of a backup point guard on this roster. But in terms of fantasy, he's an injury streamer right now. Okay, James would also like to know, will you keep holding on to Ryan Nembhard and Ace Bailey?
I think as long as Ryan, unless one of them gets moved to the bench, I would keep holding on to them. I mean, Ace Bailey's probably going to be playing his best as the season progresses, like towards the end of the year, but he's starting and he's having some solid games here and there. Maybe if you can't afford to kind of hang on to him and wait for him to play a little better, then I can understand that one. But Ryan Nembhard, the role's been semi-inconsistent, but he's had some really nice games and he's starting. So until they make the change, which is certainly not impossible, but until they make the change, I'm holding him.
Yeah, I think at this point, if you have him, you might as well hold on to him. Now, unless your team is in a situation where you really need to make a move up the standings now, then I guess you can consider dropping Ace Bailey. I'd hold on to Nembhard just as a starting point guard. I feel a little bit better about those types of players from a fantasy standpoint. But yeah, I think this is really a question where it's like, where are you in the standings? Where are you in your weekly matchups, your overall fantasy points? If you have to make a move for those reasons, then okay. But I feel like both of those guys, if you have them rostered right now, you might as well remain patient. All right. Kool-Aid Tripping. Good day to you as well. Which two players would you rather keep for the rest of the season? Jakob Poeltl, Miles Turner, or Aaron Gordon?
I'm going to say yes to Aaron Gordon for sure. Because, I mean, he's been out, but it was a 4 to 6 week absence for him. And I'm thinking we're coming up on a month. So it should be fairly soon that he's back. Poeltl or Miles Turner? I mean, I can use the category cop out of, do you need threes or do you need rebounds? But I think just kind of overall. I'm going to say Poeltl. I don't feel great about it, but I feel, because I think Poeltl is just going to, like, as he plays more, gets more, just healthy, then he'll play better. Like, we've seen him play well in Toronto. We haven't really seen Miles Turner play as well as he has in Indiana since he's gotten to Milwaukee, as we've talked about a number of times with Tyrese Halliburton.
I think I would go Gordon and Poeltl as well. I don't know if Gordon's going to shoot the ball from the perimeter as well as he did to start the season, but I think he's improved enough to where you can still get some value from that category from him. He's the obvious hold, and I think for that reason, I would hold on to Poeltl. I'd rather have the rebounds. Now, the lower back injury, it's been an issue since the preseason, is a bit concerning for me, but for that other spot, I'd like someone who can kind of give me that kind of specialist production, I guess you would say. And I think the rebounds is one where I'd rather have that than what Miles Turner brings to the table. I think even his block shots have decreased this year. So give me Poeltl and Gordon in this one as well. All right. Who will be the first one? Well, I guess he's just asking us to predict who would be the first player to get traded. Which player should we keep our eyes on because of the trade market? And meaning they'll have more value in the second half of the season.
Who could get traded? I don't know. A lot of these rumors, I just don't feel.
Yeah.
Obviously, things heat up as we get closer to February, but like the Giannis rumors will continue if the Hawks end up losing a few more games now that Trae Young's back. Those rumors will heat up. Ja Morant,
Mhm.
LaMelo Ball, probably more Ja than LaMelo. If Cleveland keeps sliding, we could see trade rumors there. The Clippers. I don't know. I don't feel super good about any big trades happening at this point, though.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis will be in rumors. Zion will be in rumors. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably too early. If someone's telling you like, oh yes, make sure to pick up this player because this other player is going to get traded and it's definitely going to open up minutes, and they're telling you that in December, then they probably have some sort of insider information that we
Mhm.
just don't have, or they're just yapping. But
Fine.
I
Yeah.
just I don't have much for you.
Yeah. I don't really know. I think if anything, the second half value, you're still kind of looking at teams that are low in the standings and who would
Yeah.
probably be at a point where they can afford to play younger players late in the season. Like obviously, Utah would be one, New Orleans another, Washington. Those are the types of teams you're kind of looking at. But I don't really know if there are too many guys that you'd want to stash right this minute, unless you're so far ahead in the standings where you can kind of afford to wait on someone. Like maybe a Kyle Filipowski in Utah would be someone that you can roster now and hold on to because he's getting spot starts. He's getting good minutes when he comes off the bench. But yeah, I think it's just really difficult to predict when we're just 4 days into people being eligible to be traded.
Right.
Okay, Nick. I drafted both Miles Turner and Jaren Jackson. Are you encouraged by their recent performances, or should I use it as a sell high moment?
I would say if you're able to sell high on Miles Turner, I would probably go ahead and do that. I just, as we've talked about, I don't feel super confident in
Yeah,
him for the rest of the season. And if you're able to sell high off a 21-point performance, then sure. Jaren Jackson, I feel a little bit more confident in because a lot of his struggles this season were the fact that he just wasn't hitting shots and he wasn't really blocking shots. He's picked that
yeah.
both up the last few games. He even got
9
his first
rebounds.
double of the
Yeah,
season.
double double. Yep.
Yeah.
And-
He heard
Yeah,
you, Ref.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm more encouraged by Jaren, and I would be more willing to hold on to him just because also the Zach Edey injury. So
Mhm.
I'd be more inclined to hold on to him. I'm not really sure what type of market there would be for Miles Turner as a sell high because it's 21 and 6 with 4 3-pointers last night. That doesn't really jump off the page for me, especially when he didn't record any defensive stats. And that's one of the reasons why you would have him rostered. So if you can sell high on him, go ahead and do it. I just don't know what the market would be for him in that scenario because I don't know. Nothing really jumped off the page for him in his recent performances for me. Okay, and his second question, what do you make of Malik Monk getting DNP CD last night with no Zach LaVine? And I pulled up the article. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say that like
All right.
when I was like scanning through box scores and I saw
Mhm.
because I was like, okay, like I talked about Zach LaVine
Yeah.
being out and like, okay, like cool, like they assigned Devin Carter to the G League. That was annoying. Okay, Keon
Mhm.
Ellis played well. That was cool. How did Malik Monk do? Wait, coach's decision. Like, was there some injury?
Yeah.
Like scrolling through Twitter and it was just, oh, they got a, for my parlay, they got a call, I forget what's the word that I don't bet enough to like know the word, but like basically like clear the line and be like, hey, like forgive the bet
Yeah.
there that I bet on
Mhm.
Malik Monk's overs or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyways, there was an article, so that's probably way more informative.
Yeah. Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee, he got some quotes from Doug Christie, and he basically said, and I quote, "We were going with defense, but it's a log jam." Speaking about Keon Ellis playing opposed to Malik, we've got a lot of guards, so whenever it was Keon being the odd man out, then it was Keon being out. Tonight we were playing Keon, so Malik was out. That's interesting. Keon had 6 steals last night. That's big time production from him. But it's kind of weird that it would be one or the other. in terms of them playing. I don't know. Obviously you have a first round pick in Nick Clifford that I'm sure they want to get minutes to, but it just kind of strikes me as a bit weird. I'm not really sure what's going on up there, but kind of feels like we've been saying that for a while with that franchise. So
they were going with defense,
and they gave up 134. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that. Also, if they're going with defense, Dennis Schroeder got 22 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't like to be super like critical of rotations. Coaches have a better feel of what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Outside of like, oh, I want this player to play more, but like, obviously, I think he has a better feel of what's going on in the locker room than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he's playing Keon Ellis because that's a player I've been like, why is he not playing more? But how does it come at the expense of Malik Monk seeing the floor at all? Like, it's not like, okay, we cut back his minutes because we wanted to emphasize defense. It's, sorry, this guy that we're paying, I don't remember how much his contract is off the top of my head, and that has been a really reliable scoring option since he got here. Yep. Like, nope, not playing tonight. We're good. Like, I don't know, just so weird. I think there's got to be something else, like some sort of more narrative thing, not just like hey, Malik Monk, we're going to play good defenders tonight, and you're not a good defender, so we're not playing you tonight. And he's just like, okay, yes, sir. Thanks, coach. Like, that just seems really weird.
I don't know. I don't think you really want to have either player rostered at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's my word. I don't know, man. Okay, JJ, good day to you as well. Would you rather roster AJ Mitchell or Herb Jones? Was Herb's last game a bit fluky? He had 8 steals last night, a career high for him.
I think fluky.
He fouled out too. Yeah.
He was really going for it.
18 points. Yeah. I think the 8 steals is a fluke. As good of a defender as he is, like, that's out of the ordinary for him. I think I would still prefer to roster him just because he's starting. You know, AJ Mitchell's still getting good minutes, but coming off the bench when you have J-Dub, SGA, Lugenstort, all those guys in a rotation, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to sustain the production that he had to start the season. So I'll take Herb Jones.
I think that's a fair way to put it, because really impressed by what AJ Mitchell did. He's still got a decent spot in the rotation, but there are some nights where he just doesn't see quite as many minutes. Man, I may still stick with AJ Mitchell with the understanding that it's probably not going to consistently be as good as it was at the beginning of the season, but even with this team getting healthier, he's still been really productive in his minutes. And Herb Jones, I think the factor of it being New Orleans, with them potentially being a team that could shut players down, the injuries that just tend to happen there, which is not like a fair way to look at that, but the flukiness of his offense isn't going to be there consistently, and like, he's not going to get 8 steals, but he should be a pretty good source of steals. But AJ Mitchell is averaging 1.5 steals this year, so you're not really getting too much of an edge there. I'd rather stick with AJ Mitchell, because there's also the scenario where OKC is so far ahead of the standings from everybody else that come time for the fantasy playoffs, they're resting a bunch of players, and AJ Mitchell is not one of those players that they're resting. So maybe that's just, creating a scenario that may or may not happen, but I'm going to go with AJ Mitchell.
Yeah, I would say to counter that, they seem to be perfectly fine going for the regular season wins record.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. I love it. Run through the tape, if you can do it. But the thing
really
is,
tired for the playoffs, please.
Yeah. No, but to kind of counter my argument, they're good enough to where they can sit guys and not really have much of a drop off too.
Yeah.
So interesting dilemma in Oklahoma City, and you can certainly make a good argument for AJ Mitchell in that question. If Christian Brown comes back, would you drop Bobby Portis for him?
I
He's
don't.
got a similar timeline to Aaron
He does.
Gordon. Yeah.
So it's not like it's a when, but I don't think this question is suggesting that he just may not come back ever. But I think he's supposed to be back based on the original timeline within the next couple weeks. But I think until Giannis is back, I'd rather have Bobby Portis. Christian Brown should be the better rest of season option, assuming that Giannis is there and healthy for the rest of the season. And Bobby Portis has been really, really good without Giannis. I think Bobby Portis has been better than Christian Brown has been at all this season, so I'd rather just hang on to Bobby Portis and keep riding that wave.
Yeah, the variable here is, when does Giannis return? That's the question that's going to impact this answer the most. But yeah, I would hold on to Portis for now because I kind of feel like Brown's going to be on a minutes restriction of some kind when he returns, at least for a few games. So yeah, I think I would hold on to Portis for the time being. Then if Giannis returns, then it's something you revisit then. All right, James, always happy to help you guys out as best as we can. Thank you for tuning in, and happy holidays to you as well. And back to Miles Turner. Which fair player can you get for him at this point? 9-cat, 12 team.
Yeah. That's like everything just depends on who do you like in your league. Who would I give up for Miles Turner? It might be different from who somebody in your league would accept for Miles, or would give up for Miles Turner, for better or for worse. I don't know. Do any names pop off the top of your head?
Man, that's tough. I guess you could, like a Wendell Carter Jr. I don't know. So you think about their ADPs, I always see a lot more was expected of Turner, but
yeah. Just looking at just strict 9-cat value over the course of the season, Miles Turner's 91, Kata's 92.
92, yeah.
I think I'd rather have Kata. Wendell's 94. I think I'd rather have Wendell. If you're just looking here at centers.
You're not going to get like Jaren Jackson Jr., and he's in that range as well. You're not going to get him. So
I don't know, maybe like even though he's been kind of disappointing, Jared Allen, but just feels, I don't know which fair play. Just try and get whoever you can, man. That's kind of my advice.
Yeah, agreed. All right, what do you think about trading Darius Garland for Reed? Which Reed is that? Oh, Reed Shepard?
Just based on the way it's spelled.
Wait, who?
Nas Reed.
Okay, yeah. That's a good point, yeah. Garland and Reed for Evan Mobley.
I think that's a pretty good deal, and I think part of that is that Darius Garland has just been iffy and in and out of the lineup. I expect that he'll be better, but I think Evan Mobley is by far the best player in this trade. And I would be a little bit surprised if you're able to pull this off, honestly. But I do think that it would be a good move to get Mobley.
Yeah. You might as well give it a shot. The worst thing they can say is no. And if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you might as well ask. And I think getting Evan Mobley for these two would be a good path to take. So, yeah, I would do it as well. Okay, with rumors swirling about it, does a Darius Garland trade hurt his already career low stock more, as he's likely is going to be a more ancillary piece wherever he goes?
I think that's like a hard thing to say, just because I don't know. It depends on what the other team will be giving up. And I think that is what's going to end up telling the most, because you can look at it as nobody's going to believe in him as much as Cleveland did because they were the team that originally drafted him. But if another team is willing to give up, a certain amount of assets, where you're like, wow, okay, they really like Darius Garland, they want him around, they really believe in him, then that'll be pretty telling. So would depend on where he lands, would depend on what's given up. But honestly, I think if he can end up on a team where there's just not another guard like Donovan Mitchell that needs the ball and is better, like deserves the ball, then that allows Darius Garland to be a little bit more on the ball, like we saw when he was an all-star, or like made his first all-star game.
Yeah, I don't. The second part of his question, he brings up Orlando, and I have to ask, why would Orlando do this?
Like, seriously. That's been rumored. Not recently.
I know it's been rumored, but
yeah.
Why? It doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. Like, you're trading two guys. You're essentially going, probably going to have to go Suggs for Garland in some way, shape, or form. They both have injury histories. You're giving up the superior defender for a guy who, in terms of the offensive production, the shooting has been down, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, why are we? I don't get why Orlando would want to do that personally.
I think the line of, not saying that they should want to do this, but the line of thinking would be something like, hey, they're, let's see, 8th in defensive rating this season. It's like one of the best defensive teams. They're 10th in offensive rating this year, so they've been better offensively than they have been in the past, but just trying to help things out with the half-court offense that's not just Paolo, which I think has been better this year. I think Desmond Bane helps with that. So I think this was something that made a little bit more sense last year, but they took the swing on Desmond Bane, so probably doesn't make as much sense. But for Cleveland, having Jalen Suggs and Donovan Mitchell together, that does make a lot of sense and would help a lot.
Yeah. Better defensive backcourt for sure. I do still have concerns about the lack of size in that backcourt, but the way Suggs gets after it defensively, he can make up for that. But yeah, I'm just not seeing that from Orlando's angle at this point, why they would do that, especially when you had Desmond Bane in the mix to provide shooting. So I don't know. Okay, do you think Maxime Reynaud will maintain value once Sabonis comes back?
Probably not. Just because if he's coming off the bench, like Sabonis is going to be playing 35 minutes per game. So Reynaud can probably spend a little bit of time on the floor with Sabonis, but probably not too much. I think best case scenario, he's at 20 minutes per game. Just don't think that's enough for him to be a standard league guy. I think what you'd be rooting for here is Sacramento saying, okay, we aren't good this year. Let's trade away our veterans and get picks and young pieces and get a nice pick this year and start this rebuild thing all over again, because they're kind of going to end up with an early pick regardless. You might as well try and build a team that fits the timeline a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't really have much to add to that. Like, his minutes, he'll probably play about 15 to 17 a night with Sabonis available, and I don't know if that's enough for Reynaud to be worth holding on to, but he would be someone to watch, like, around the trade deadline. If Sacramento were to make some moves to break things up, Reynaud is someone who could potentially profit, and he's played pretty well recently too, so that may kind of influence the front office's thinking in these next couple months here. So yeah,
drop Noah, easy drop.
Yeah, that first guy, get him out of here. I don't know who that is. So.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I think the rest just kind of depend on categories. Can't give you a straight answer.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Do you guys think Anthony Black will keep this up even when Suggs returns?
I mean, he's been starting with Franz Wagner.
I think Franz Wagner is the bigger question here, when he gets back. And I think the answer there would be no, but with Suggs, I think he can.
Yeah, I'm and maintaining what he's done the last few games, which still hasn't been great, mostly because the field goal percentage has been pretty, or just both percentages have been pretty iffy. The turnovers have been great. The scoring's been pretty good. Assists, steals, sure. But yeah, I think he's a starter until Franz Wagner gets back, so there's upside.
Okay. For the first time this season, Nick finally has an open IL spot. Would you grab Brown, DeJounte Murray, or Aaron Nesmith, or leave open for an inevitable injury?
I would probably grab. What's going on with Aaron Nesmith?
Because
I don't think I would add DeJounte.
Christmas, but Nesmith could be back after Christmas, but there really hasn't been too much clarity provided on him either. So
yeah, I'd probably just snag Brown just to grab someone, and then feel fine to stream someone in if needed. So
yeah, I think he would be the only one of these three I would consider adding, but I kind of like leaving that space open. Not because you're planning for an injury, since you've dealt with those all season, but I like the flexibility where you have an open IL spot, and then if something should go down, you can put someone in that spot and then be able to go onto the waiver wire and get someone who's healthy. Because I don't know if of the three guys, I like Murray ceiling the best, but that situation in New Orleans, I don't know if he's worth waiting for, because you have a rookie in Jeremiah Fears they're starting. Jose Alvarado, we'll see with him and what happens with him in terms of like trade rumors. You got Jordan Poole. Kind of feels like they've got a lot of pieces there where Murray's ceiling may be capped, in terms of how much he'll get to play. So the other two really don't do it for me in terms of like consistent category league value. Brown's probably the closest, but I don't know. I think I'd rather have the open spot in this scenario. Okay. Any updates on Sabonis' return? Last time I heard he was set to be reevaluated this week.
Let's
see here.
I thought there was something. I thought I blurred something the other day.
Yeah, I think he's got pushed back, I want to say. Yeah, he didn't practice because of an illness on Tuesday. So
that's right. But I think when I blurred that, it was like the wording of the tweet almost implied that he would have practiced if it wasn't for the illness.
Okay, yeah.
It says Sabonis has an illness. It is not at practice today. So I guess that doesn't necessarily guarantee that he would have practiced, but he wasn't there because of an illness.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys think the Hornets will try to get into the play-in? I think they have the talent and could cause problems to top-tier teams.
I mean, I think they'll try. They're 2.5 games out of it right now. It's just going to come down to, can this team stay healthy? Like, do they have LaMelo Ball? Do they have Brandon Miller? Or are they starting KJ Simpson? And, like, I like KJ Simpson, but I don't think that him as a starting point guard, starting because of injuries, is enough for this team to surpass. I mean, right now it's Chicago in 10, Milwaukee in 11, and Charlotte in 12th. Don't think that's really enough for them to get that last spot.
Yeah, at this point, they've done enough losing. I think it's time to try to get yourself in position to get back to playing games that truly matter late in the season. So, I don't know. I think they're one of those teams where they have the talent that can cause some chaos if they're playing against a team that's not really disciplined and decides to get into that run and gun kind of freewheeling style of play. So, yeah, they may be able to take a game off of one of the better teams in the East, but I don't see them being a team that can get out of the first round, but simply being in that discussion would be an improvement for them, given what we've seen from the Hornets in recent years. But yeah, healthy LaMelo Ball, you never know what can happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Quick star, I'd like to know, what should the Bulls do with Kobe White?
if you want my opinion on what the Bulls should be doing in general, it's probably not what's going to end up happening, but it's something that you probably should have done years ago. But fully pull the plug on this thing.
Yeah.
Let's rebuild. Let's, Josh Giddey's you've kind of redeemed his value. You may have even waited too long. You probably should have done it this offseason. And of course, this is not me saying there was any chance of that happening this offseason, because the way he finished last season, they were like, oh, okay, like we have our guy.
Yeah.
But yet with the contract there, you could also kind of see there was a little bit of a reservation there because they weren't giving him as much money as it was reported that he wanted. But like, you got Buzelis, you just drafted Essengay. Like, let's trade Josh Giddey. Let's trade Vucevic. It should have been gone yesterday. Kobe White. And let's get a really nice lottery pick this year and start building this thing out. That's not what they're going to do.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
I feel like they did with Josh Giddey what they should have done with Patrick Williams. Like, that contract still amazes me. Like, they weren't bidding against everyone. They get against anyone, I should say, and they gave him $90 million. Like that. Good for him. I'm happy for him that he got paid, but that's absurd given what we've seen in terms of the production. I would keep Giddey. I think he's someone that they could potentially build around in terms of what he brings to the table. I just don't know if you can hold on to him and White, just because the defense isn't there. I think Kobe's position is one where you could possibly look to make an upgrade on that end of the floor. Obviously, every team in the league is looking for 3-and-D guys. Like, that's like the prototype that everyone wants to be able to fill in a surplus, so to speak, instead of just having one guy. And I think for that reason, his name's probably going to come up more in trade rumors before February, and we'll see what they do. But I think if you can get some type of value for him, I would do it, because it seems like he wants like that $30 million per year type money, and I don't think you can justify that.
Nope. But Chicago might do their favorite thing and bid against themselves and pay him.
Yeah. Okay, another trade. 9-cat 12-teamer. Would you trade Keyshawn George and Miles Turner for Devin Booker?
Yes.
Yeah, if you're getting Devin Booker, absolutely. If you're giving up Devin Booker, don't do that.
True. Assuming you're getting Devin Booker, do that trade. If you are giving up Devin Booker, do not do that trade. That's all I got.
Yeah, that was.
Don't need to know much else about your team. Don't need to just go. If you have a chance to give up that to get Devin Booker, log off the show, go make the trade. I won't even be mad.
Yeah. It's like, well, if your record is this, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and do it. Let's see. See, we got any injuries tonight? Okay, Isaiah Hartenstein will be available tonight for Oklahoma City. He didn't play last night, obviously back-to-back, and they didn't need him. So I believe that will bump Cason Wallace back to the bench. Well, Lou Dort only played 18 minutes. That was interesting, but yeah. So
that Thunder rotation, it's gonna make it, or it has been kind of difficult for fantasy basketball, but it doesn't really matter who they're out there playing or who they put out. Like, they've just been so freaking dominant.
Okay, we've got a Philadelphia question here from Isaac. Would you rather stream Dominic Barlow or Andre Drummond? I need stocks, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. 1 start for Drummond with the Embiid absence, then 2 for Dominic Barlow.
At least 1 start for Andre Drummond, because I would think that Embiid is gonna play the second night of the back-to-back. But I guess that's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
if you need stocks, field goal percentage, free throw percentage. I mean, Drummond isn't going to get you free throw percentage, but field goal percentage should be good. And there is some stock upside, but Barlow is better at those individual categories. And like you said, will be starting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd go Barlow here. If you don't need the rebounding upside of Drummond, I think I'd probably go Barlow.
Yeah, because now that you mention, the second part, there's no guarantee that he plays tomorrow night. They could potentially get Embiid over a week off if he sits both games of this back-to-back. So I kind of feel like that maybe for that reason you can consider Drummond. But when you mention free throw percentage, I think that's the reason why you probably go Barlow instead. So I would agree. I think I'd go Dominic Barlow here as well. And let's see. Isaac says he's already crushing rebounds. So, yeah, even more reason to kind of take a swing on Barlow in this spot. Okay. What do we think about Saddiq Bey for the rest of the season?
I mean, he's been really good, and he has been starting. He's coming off his best, at least highest scoring game of the season. And I don't know. I assume at some point they're going to bump Zion back into the starting lineup, but I think hard to say fully rest of the season. I'd be holding him right now until they bench him. And even if they bench him, I assume he's still going to play a large role because he's played so well. So I would not be looking to drop this guy at all.
Yeah. I think once he moves to the bench, his value will probably take a hit, but I still think he's worth holding on to. So, yeah.
And that would be banking on Zion playing the rest of the season, which.
Exactly. We don't know.
I would bank on that not happening.
Yeah. All right. What are our thoughts on Keon Ellis if the Lakers end up paying the high price for him? Would that take Marcus Smart entirely out of the rotation or even trickle down to impact Rui or LaRavia?
That'd be an interesting trade. I would like it.
Yeah. I think my question is, what would the price be? Because his cap number is $2.3 million. And he's going to be a free agent in the summer. So I guess Sacramento can insist on a first-round pick in return, which I don't think the Lakers have much in terms of that future draft capital, but kind of wonder if it might end up just working out being like second-round picks they end up getting.
Yeah, or I don't even know what that – okay, reportedly a protected first-round pick. I think that Keon Ellis is worth it, but I'm like super high on Keon Ellis.
No, I like him too. I just don't know why you would pay that price for him if you're like Sacramento can and should ask for it. Right. I just don't know if a team, whether it's the Lakers or someone else, would be willing to meet that price.
True, which is probably why he'll just end up sitting on the bench for the rest of the season. That would be an interesting thing for the Lakers to do or for some team to do. I think whether it's by trade or he signs elsewhere, like Keon Ellis is going to end up being a stud next season. Hopefully he doesn't resign in Sacramento. If you're in a dynasty league, stash him. That's my advice.
You prefer to do Edey and Keyshawn for Booker? Yes. I think this was compared to his first trade.
Of Keyshawn and Miles Turner for Devin Booker's. Who would you rather give up, Miles Turner or Zach Edey?
Okay.
Might prefer to keep Edey if it's the same league where he said he's in second place. Then I think I might prefer to keep Edey.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remove my Miles Turner bias from this equation. But yeah, I really can't. I think I would prefer to roll the dice on Edey not being, in a spot where he can't play. So, yeah. If he can give up Turner instead, I would do that.
Yeah.
What are the Miami Heat's chances this year?
I mean,
should be a playoff team.
Yeah, I think I'm worried about how their newfound offensive system is going to translate into the playoffs. But obviously, they've had success in the postseason. I just assume that they'll play more playoff style basketball. But I think that if they're healthy, they're probably a team that can beat anyone in the East. So I wouldn't necessarily pick them over a handful of teams. But yeah, like I wouldn't say very good, but they have a chance.
Yeah, the right matchup, they can probably get out of the first round. I just don't know if I'd pick them to go any further than that.
Yeah. I think the East is just really interesting this year because it's not like it's much deeper than it has been in the past. And there isn't a clear cut, hey, this team is better than everyone else the way there is in the West, or hey, these like I would say that the Pistons and Knicks are the top two teams, but I don't think either of them are just like 3 tiers ahead of everyone else. So
yeah,
anyone
there's
get hot.
always that. Yeah, there's always that Jason Tatum wild card.
Oh gosh, that would ruin everything.
Yeah.
Except for Boston fans, they'd enjoy it, but
Okay. How worried are we that Edie is never actually going to be healthy? I went into the season not expecting him to suit up at all. They arguably rushed him back and made things worse. Now, I'm no medical expert, so I don't know. I can't really say whether or not they go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a factor of 7'4", 300-pound guy with a stress injury, like never actually going to be healthy. This season, I think could depend on how much they don't want to rush him back or want to rush him back, depending on how the team is doing, depends on other moves. I would be shocked if they rushed him back into the point. Like it could be a lot longer than 4 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, Jiggy, how are you doing today? 16 team head-to-head 10 cat with offensive rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo or Jordan Walsh? I need small forward / power forward. Is giving up Dante too much, or is that fair?
Probably is too much to give up, and I'd say it's probably too much to give up for me, just because Dante DiVincenzo is so safe, like locked in as a starter. Jordan Walsh, I think he'll start rest of the season, but that's not a guarantee. So I think it'd be too much for me.
Yeah, I think giving up a little too much. Like we thought the same about Josh Minot, like 4 to 6 weeks ago, and then he ended up getting bumped from the starting lineup for Jordan Walsh. So it looks good, but you never know. I trust Dante a bit more. I think you may be able to find more secure options with forward eligibility on the waiver wire than Jordan Walsh. Okay, would you do James Harden and Dyson Daniels for Luka Doncic? 9 cat 12 team. See?
Yes.
Yeah, another question where it's like if you're getting the elite player, absolutely, but if you're the other manager in this, I don't know why you would go for that.
Yeah, and I think the thing here is Harden has been okay. It hasn't been quite as good as we were hoping it would be, and the Clippers obviously haven't been good at all. Dyson, I think the offense is going to continue to take a hit as Trae Young ramps his minutes up. But Luka Doncic is the superstar of the Lakers and is going to have insane. Like you have to do this trade.
Yeah, like even before Harden sat out last night, he's looked pretty bored. And that's a concern when you look at his career. When he starts to look bored, well, might as well pack it up. So I don't. Yeah, if the other manager accepts this, I'd be shocked. But yeah, no, I'm not looking to acquire James Harden at this point, given where that team is in the standings, and I don't know if they have the pieces required to kind of fix this thing before the trade deadline either. So, all right, Kobe White or Jaden McDaniels?
Is the category cop out okay here? Because I mean, Jay McDaniels has been more
I kind of
consistent.
assume
But
if you're throwing this out, you don't really need offense. But
yeah, I'd rather have Jay McDaniels unless you need the points or threes from Kobe White or assists.
Yeah. Okay. He's looking for some good rebounding / low turnover streamers for Sunday.
We can do this. How about?
I mean, I would just go with Maxime right now. 11 boards, 2 turnovers last night. You know he's going to start and play good minutes with Sabonis and Drew Eubanks out. He's the first one who'd come to mind for Sunday. Let's see.
Trying to look at who's been allowing a lot of rebounds recently, but a lot of those teams are not playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really open up much. Yeah, Maxime Reynaud is probably your only realistic actual streaming option here, unless you want to look at Mitch Robinson.
Yeah. You just have to hope he doesn't shoot too many free throws, of course. But yeah. Okay. What are our thoughts on Cam Spencer for the rest of the season?
I'd like to see him a couple more times before really feeling good about it. Because he missed this last game. Okay, it looks like I don't know if their injury report would have come out yet. Basketball Monster has him questionable for Saturday. He's not going to continue to shoot this well.
Yeah.
But I think he's earned a spot in the rotation. I think he's probably a rest of season option based on what we know right now. But I think it'll be interesting to see when Ty Jerome gets healthy and when Scottie Pippen Jr. gets healthy and if John Morant stays healthy. Like all those other factors are pretty impactful there. So rest of the season's a little bit bleaker in comparison to the next few weeks, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Let's see. Pistons question here. Is Ron Holland still a hold? Been a bit rougher of late, but Duncan Robinson is out now, which adds space in the rotation for some extra minutes for everyone. I don't think he is.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a hold. No, I wouldn't say so. If he does start, which I don't think he did last time Duncan Robinson missed the game. I can't remember who it was. Let's see. Oh, it was Dennis Jenkins.
Yeah.
He was the guy. Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't consider Ron Holland a must-hold player.
Yes, they just got so many options, not just him, but also Jaden Ivey. You've got Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert replaced Robinson in the immediate aftermath of the injury last night. Let me see what they were looking like from a minute standpoint, though. Yeah, LeVert played 27 minutes. You got 20 out of Holland, and he got 14 out of Ivey. Now, Ivey's still on a minutes restriction, so he's probably not in that equation immediately like the other two are, but I don't know. I kind of feel like Karis LeVert may be the better option here while Duncan Robinson is out.
Yeah.
My stomach is my stomach is growling, and it's 1 hour. So yeah, I think we're done for the day. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Enjoy the basketball this weekend. Got a 10-game slate on Saturday, so should be fun. A lot of good fantasy choices out there. Thank you and take
Absolutely.
care.